Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. I am your host of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. My name is David Bradley, training facilitator and coach with Grant Cardone. I'm bringing you weekly sales solutions, sales tips, sales strategies, and a couple attitude adjustments thrown on in there for good measure, directly from the 10X world of Grant Cardone. Check this out. Did you know that 80% of what we do at Cardone Training Technologies is 100% free? So the purpose of this podcast is to make sure that the free stuff we're putting down, you're picking it up and you're plugging it into your sales, your business, and your life. So thanks in advance for hitting that subscribe button. Additionally, if you're getting value from this thing, make sure you're sharing it out into the cyberspace so that other folks can benefit from it too. Now, today's Wednesday, and that means it's time for the Wednesday Word. And what we do on Wednesdays with the Wednesday Word is I'm going to take a success-themed word and I'm going to look up the definition. Check this out too, since we're checking stuff out. First lesson I learned from Grant Cardone: selling is a conversation. Power comes from the words that you use. So would it make sense? Would it be a bad idea if we knew what the heck we're saying anyway? How many words are we saying that we just totally take for granted? So let's crack open a dictionary. Let's look at the definition of it. Let's understand the etymology and the history of it, what it really means, or what it may have meant in antiquity. And then again, what can we do with this to enhance our sales, our business, and your life? So today's word is actually, in the world of Grant Cardone, the number one rule of selling. That's right. Today's word is agreement. It's a noun. Agreement. A-G-R-E-E-M-E-N-T. It is a noun. It is a thing. So let me give you the definitions. I pulled 3 of them out of the dictionary. Then I've got some synonyms to go with that. Then we're going to hit the etymology of it. And then I'm going to give you a challenge. And the challenge, I'm just telling you now, it's going to suck. So the definition of agreement is this: harmony or accordance in opinion or feeling, a position or result of agreeing. The 2 officers nodded in agreement. The salesperson nodded at his customer in agreement. Next definition: a negotiated and typically legal binding arrangement between parties as a course of action. So if somebody signs up for Cardone University, we have an agreement. They're going to give us some money. We're going to give them a training program. If somebody adds coaching to it, hint, hint, then not only are they going to get the training inside the program, but they're going to have somebody help them through it. A trade agreement, for example. Next definition: the absence of incompatibility. That's hard to say. The absence of incompatibility between 2 things. Consistency. Agreement between experimental observations and theory. Using that in a sentence. Synonyms. What other words are synonymous with agreement? Accord. Not the Honda, but the Johnny Depp, the Jack Sparrow version. Do we have an accord? Concurrence. Consensus. Right? Remember that? Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can. Doctor, do you concur? Yes, I concur. Right? Great scene. Harmony. Unity. Like-mindedness. Rapport. Ooh, now we're getting salesy. Sympathy. Acceptance. Consent. Acquiescence. Endorsement. Confirmation. Covenant. Pact. Spit on it. Shake on it. Okay? Deal. Bargain. Settlement. Understanding. Do we have an understanding? Yes, we do. We are in agreement. Okay. I love this word. It's a great word. So what's the history? I'm going to keep this simple because I got to get into the challenge I'm going to give you that's going to suck. Okay. The etymology of agreement. Late Middle English, Old French, agreer, based on the Latin ad. A-D means to. Add to. A-D, add, means to. T-O. And we're going to throw gratis on top of it, meaning pleasing. So the origin, the etymology, the history of agreement is to please. Yeah. Okay, so now what? What are we going to do with that? What did I say at the very beginning? Agreement is the number one rule of selling. If you want to get an agreement, you have to be agreeable. So based on your ego, again, I told you it's going to suck. Based on your ego, the following may be easier said than done. Right out of Grant's first book, Sell or Be Sold. Always, always, always agree with the buyer. Not always agree, but there's 3 always. That's how important that is. This is the deal, okay? You ready? No matter what the buyer says to you, what they claim, or even, dare I say, demand, that you should, under no circumstances, ever disagree with them. Nor, here's where it starts to get really challenging now, nor should you ever want to make the buyer wrong. But it feels so good to make other people wrong. Yep, nope, can't do it. Sorry. And you certainly don't want to make any overtly passive-aggressive statements or suggestions that their request is impossible. Now we're getting into customer service. So now if you're in the habit of doing any of those things, I promise you, it's costing you business, it's costing you sales, it's costing you profit. I promise. I'd pinky swear on that. However, once you get this number one rule of selling down, once you implement this simple strategy and make it part of you, it will not only save your sales, but you will start picking up extra deals that you didn't think you would even get, and that'll start happening left and right. Now, remember the old adage that, like, hey, the customer's always right? Yeah, which you and I both know that ain't true. It's not. They're wrong. And they lie. Okay? Buyers are liars. That phrase is there for a reason. Okay? And it doesn't mean you get to hold that against them, or that you get to prove them wrong, or gotcha. You don't do any of that stuff. Like, you want to be right or you want to close a deal? Well, I'm going to close a deal. So that means you got to let go of some ego. When you tell someone you can't, or that you won't, or that you're not allowed to do that, or that just isn't our policy, that's impossible, what happens to what is the customer? What do I do? You tell me that. I get defensive. I don't like being said no to. I'm the customer. I'm going to dig in. And it's going to make me way less likely to agree with you. Isn't that how you roll? So why would you think your customer is somehow going to be like, okay? They're not. You're on one side of the river. Customer's on the other side. Every time a customer complains and you disagree with them, you try and prove them wrong. It becomes more important for you to be right than close a deal. You're literally like building this brick wall, brick by brick, piece by piece. And that wall separates you from them. The sale cannot happen when there's a big-ass brick wall in the way. So here's the solution. Customer has a complaint. They have a concern. You got to prove to them that you're listening, that you understand, and that you are willing to help them and work with them to find a solution. You must be agreeable. And you must be able to see things from their point of view if you're going to make the sale. Doesn't mean you acquiesce. Again, do you want to be right? Or do you want to close a deal? So here's the challenge. The thing I told you about in the beginning that is going to suck. for the next 24 hours, I would like you to practice and begin agreeing with every person you interact with. Everybody. Everything you can to see it from their point of view and to start a conversation. If you're going to disagree, agree first. Let me know how that works out for you. Hit me up on the new social site that I've been frequenting lately called BitCloud. My handle over there @DavidR.Bradley. You do this agreement thing for 24 hours, and I dare you to get through 24 hours and agree with everybody. Can you go for 24 hours and not be in a place of disagreement? Can you make it to 8:30 in the damn morning? Hit me up over on BitCloud @DavidR.Bradley. Let me know how that whole thing goes for you. Okay. And this has been your Wednesday Word. It is called the number one rule of selling for a reason. You cannot get agreement without agreement. You can't get an agreement unless you're in agreement. You got it? Okay. Again, if you're going to do the challenge, when you do the challenge, let me know how far you got. Hit me up over on BitCloud @DavidR.Bradley. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your week. This is Wednesday. Be great, because nothing else pays. You're right.